Welcome to another episode of the Fanzone podcast, your home for all things Bolton Wanderers, up the Trotters, the Northwest's #1 podcast.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whatever time you are listening to this. Of course, tonight you're joined by myself and Ben and Ange for episode 164 of the Fanzone podcast, Stag-nant. We'll get into the reasons why in due course. Of course, this is following yesterday's shambolic 1-0 defeat at home against lowly Mansfield Town, of which Wanderers somehow managed to lose their unbeaten home record dating all the way back to April of this year. Ben, good evening to you.
Good evening. Yeah, I'm depleted too. I'm not gonna lie. 3 pods in 4 days, isn't it? And yeah, I'm lacking some pod fitness, as you know, some of our players seem to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here we are.
We'll try and bring the energy. We'll try and bring a little bit of humour. Speaking of humour, Ange, how are you?
I'm tired. I'm really tired. And I wanted last night to lift me up a bit because I'm working yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and was like, oh, do it at this match. But it'd be great because we'll win. And we didn't. So yeah, I'm like that withered balloon. Oh, my wife, I think we're funny. That withered 3-week-old balloon after a party down the back of a sofa today.
Yeah. No, I'm sure you're not on your own. I'm somewhere in between, I think, as well, to be honest. I'm trying to not be reactive. I'm trying to still remain positive. I am thinking we're quite lucky in a way that we can put a poor performance in during a very hectic fixture part of the season where we've got a quick turnaround and an opportunity for us to hopefully right some wrongs away at Doncaster on New Year's Day. Just to let everybody know, we will not be doing man of the match tonight because we felt losing at home against Mansfield Town, nobody deserves that particular plaudit. So we'll be skipping past that one, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. But we will be giving our post-match reactions, and that will start now. And of course, before we get into that, I want to say a massive good evening to everybody who's joined us so far in the chat. Greatly appreciate you spending what day are we on? Tuesday night with us. Very much appreciate your time and support as always. Please do like, subscribe, all that kind of wonderful jazz that keeps the podcast going. It's very much appreciated and it helps us with the old algorithm for any other Wanderers fans who are feeling a little bit down in the dumps, which I'm sure a lot of us are. Yeah, so Ben, I'm going to start with you, mate. I know obviously you've literally just watched the highlights or lowlights from yesterday evening's game against Mansfield. I'm just going to get straight into it. Give me your perspective, please, pal.
Well, yeah, you just mentioned the highlights. It was the extended highlights, so about 11 minutes, and it was basically 10 minutes of us attacking and 1 minute of their corner and a little half chance at the end where they put it out for a throw in, and they've somehow come away 1-0 winners. So fair play to them. They took their chance. We didn't take one of our 4 or 5 good ones. Yeah, it was again. We've seen it plenty of times this season where we start games well, dominate the ball. I remember looking at one point, the possession was 80% last night, and we have all the shots. Get a big chance through Dolby, and he just simply has to score for me. Another decent-ish chance when Sheehan produces a good save from Roberts when Dolby's a bit slow to follow up, and then I'll say Tutu puts one over the bar, don't he, with the deflection. And then in the second half, we started pretty good. Conway goes through 1-on-1, and it's a very good chance missed. Stroke a really good save by the keeper. And then after that, it was a lot of huffing and puffing. And I don't want to blame officials for losing games because we weren't good enough last night, but some absolutely horrendous calls, which I have honestly no idea how we got wrong, including a pretty obvious penalty for me at the end on Max Conway. But yeah, I mean, if we got a penalty then and scored it at 1-1, it's still not really good enough home to Mansfield. But yeah, it was, as Radic says, it's possession with no end products, really. Which is, again, yeah, it's not the first time we've seen it, really. And it's kind of frustrating to get to the end of a match and seeing we've had 20-odd shots and the opponent's had 6 or 7, and we either struggle to turn that into a dominant scoreline or even win at all. So, yeah, I don't know. It's frustrating. And
yeah, that's a story of this league, though, isn't it, really, when we play up against teams of that type. Obviously, we've kind of got away with it this last few weeks, haven't we? And yeah, it's really, really disappointing. I think Shuey hit the nail on the head as well. Like, we're just not good enough in both boxes. And Dan's obviously made a very good point in the chat as well, which I'll read out for the people on audio. Bringing Morley on to cross the ball after Dalby went off is baffling. Yeah,
and some beautiful crosses he put in that box, but to nobody.
Yeah, and I think, listen, we'll get into kind of the nuances of reasoning and so whatnot. I mean, ultimately, after a defeat like that against a team like that, who, in their own way, they deserve a little bit of credit, to be fair. You know, you got to give a little bit of credit where credit's due. Before I do that, actually, I want to give credit to the supporters. I thought they were excellent, actually. It was actually really good to see a club of that stature bring in such a substantial kind of away following and making a right good atmosphere and a right good racket in that corner. So, yeah, I don't often refer to the fans of the opposition on this podcast, but yeah, I want to give a little bit of a credit to them. And yeah, well done to them for picking up the 3 points as well. I think you have to be gracious in defeat at times because with what they've got at their disposal, I think they had a lot of injuries as well to key players, and really up against it to obviously get that victory is great for them. But listen, we're not a Mansfield podcast, but I thought I'd kind of get into that. Yeah, it's really disappointing. Let's be truthful. We need to see a reaction. Will we see a reaction, Ange? That's my question to you.
There is no option other than to show a reaction. So obviously we did a double preview, me and Ben, on what day was it? I don't know, Sunday possibly. And do feel like I jinxed us a little bit because I may have said it probably will be a team like Mansfield that will end our unbeaten run. So I'll take this one for the team. We'll never say anything like that again. But also, the Doncaster fella was quite upbeat about us visiting them. Didn't seem to be worried at all. And with our absolutely abysmal away form, it's got to stop, and it's got to stop now.
Yep. That was the worry me with the home and away form split is the home form was great and we were unbeaten. In my opinion, it was very unlikely for us to go unbeaten the whole season at home. And if that home form starts to slip from being near perfect and the away form doesn't improve, then I don't know, we're suddenly a mid-table team. The away form just has to improve simply, doesn't it? I know we spoke about it a million times, but yeah, I mean we've got some good pictures away from home coming up over the next month. But so if there's a time to do it, it's now. But
yeah, I've got no, it's all right. I put a question in the chat earlier on. I want to hear people's thoughts and opinions in the chat. I asked a question: what do we need to do moving into the second half of the season? Obviously, we're not quite at the halfway point just yet. I think it's after the Doncaster game, we'll be halfway through the fixtures. But yeah, obviously, it's going to be getting to squeaky bum time by the time we know it, and it's important that we've got all the necessary tools to get us over the line. Some of the alarming stats, I think, obviously, as far as league goals are concerned, Marcus Force hasn't scored since Wigan. I think Mason Burstow hasn't scored for 3 months. And I know that people are obviously rightly so in some instances having a little bit of a go at Teddy Sharman-Law. Last night, could he have had more protection from the corner? Possibly. Defenders at fault just as much as him. I'd say yeah. But if we're being completely truthful, goals win games, and the centre forwards and striking options that we've got aren't delivering. And I think that is ultimately the issue that we've got at the moment, because I think we'll always. I mean, the third? I've got league table in front of me here. We've got, I think, the third lowest conceded goals in the league this season. So clearly the defence and the goalkeeper isn't the issue. Yes, we've dropped points. Of course we have, and you can scrutinise that. But the lack of goals is costing us.
Yesterday, that goal that we conceded should have been a 1 in a 4-1, not a 1-0 loss. Obviously, it's a mistake, and I think I agree. I think the defender should have given him more protection because he's basically the big striker on the keeper on his own, or maybe he should just shove him out of the way himself. But that should have already been 2-0 up at that point.
Yeah.
So we should. And we can't be having 10 corners in the first half and absolutely getting nowhere near the goal.
And that's the thing. Yeah, we had 10 corners before they had 1, and as soon as they got their corner, I was thinking, this is where I'm worried now, because even in the away game where they barely threatened us, it was a couple of corners and long throws where they looked a little bit threatening. And I thought, I'm a bit worried now. When we've had 10 corners before and don't barely even get excited for them, because
we knew though, didn't we? We knew from the preview that they're absolutely that team is shot. They've got about 12, 13 first team senior players fit. And when they had their player go off early doors, I was like, we've got to end up. We were peppering them. I was like, it's going to be a 3-4-0 here. There's no way are they going to have the legs to withstand us to the end. But they dug. It's a Cloughie team, and they dug deep, and they did the dirty and the gritty, and they stuck to the game plan. And you got to take your hat off, because that's all they needed. That one goal, and that was it.
It's a bit of a broad question. I'm not really going to ask Ange to this, because I know you hate the January transfer window, but we need to discuss it quickly. I saw David earlier on mention shipping Dalby out, Force out, Sissoko out, Cogley out, Victor out, McAtee out, Randall out, and I think he also threw in Taylor as well to that list. I think we need to temper our expectations with that a little bit. We're not going to be clearing out as many as kind of 8 players in a January transfer window. It just doesn't happen. But my question to you, Ben, is maybe out of that list, possibly, but I'm of the opinion it's probably going to be 1 in, 1 out. Who are we getting rid of, or what we're doing to the squad to kind of help us kind of enhance our firepower?
To be honest, I feel like it might be 1.5 out, 1 in, with how bloated our squad is at the minute. I mean, Shuey's mentioned it a couple of times, and we've seen there's always 3 or 4 omissions from the squad that you think, he's not. I mean, like Dacres Cogley's not been in the squad for about 5 or 6 games, has he? Obviously, McAtee's injured at the minute. Randall's had periods when he's not been in the squad. So is Morley. I didn't even realise he was on the bench last night until he came on. I'm not going to lie, because he's not been in the squad quite often this season. But yeah, from that list, let's go back to it. Where is it?
Really high up at the top.
Yeah, there it is. Dolby, I mean, whether you think he's good enough or not, we signed him with a 4-year contract in the summer. He's going nowhere. Yeah.
He's going nowhere.
Forget that one.
False possibility could go back, yeah. I mean, I just don't think he's been played in his right position enough. I think, to me, he's a striker in a 2, and we don't play with 2 up front, or we haven't really. The only time he looked properly threatening was his first couple of games. He started against Wigan and away at Northampton, I thought, and that's when he was playing right up front with Burstow. But yeah, I don't think he's been used nearly as effectively as he could have done. Sissoko, I mean, yeah, don't really know how to describe his performance last night in his loan spell. Cogley, as I said, has not been in the squad. Looks like our 3rd choice right back at the minute. I won't be surprised if he goes. Victor, yeah, he seems fit apparently, and he's not been in the squad. So I won't be surprised if he goes. McAtee, been injured, but still, yeah, I mean, he's kind of flat to deceive, hasn't he? I would love nothing more for him to come back and stake a claim as our number 10, but as we mentioned a million times, we've had 4 or 5 different players try and cement their place as our starting number 10, and no one else done yet. And Randall, there's the last one. I mean, we bigged him up on the pod the other day after a decent performance against on Boxing Day against Rotherham, but I think he was back to being a bit.
I think he was okay last night. He weren't awful. He weren't great. He was okay. No,
he was okay. Yeah, and so yeah, out of them. Yeah, I would probably. Yeah, Dolby's going to stay. Force, I won't be surprised if he went back. Sissoko the same, just for to maybe get another loan spell. And I know we've been linked today with Jamie Donnelly from Spurs, who was at Orient last season, who I would quite like. He's more of the physical number 10, which I feel like I've been dying out for, a bit more a goal threat. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it's. I think Mark Isle said it in his instant reaction pod this morning or whatever he put it out, that we're probably going to be in for quite a busy January, and I think that's probably going to be the case. And I think the last few games has probably highlighted that to Shuey, I would suspect, as well as the fans. But my point in that is essentially just kind of like temper our expectations with our outgoings, because I can't envision ridiculous.
It's a really small window. It's a really small window to get the work done, and he probably wants to, but he's not going to be able to. He won't get everything he'd done. Oh, here's Benji. Go away, Ben, in Thailand. He's not going to get everything he wants done, I don't think.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whatever time it is in Thailand, Ben.
Sure, it's about 4 in.the morning there now, 3 a.m. If you
maybe
he's probably up doing some yoga or something.
Yeah.
Well, he won't be doing anything else at that time of morning, will he, apart from yoga? I would have thought.
It is teetotal, though.
Maybe just come out of a ping pong show. I don't know. Yeah.
I can't envision Ben doing a ping pong show, to be honest with you, Ben. Anyway, we're not doing man of the match, as we've discussed, so we'll get straight into the gaffer's notebook. Let's see what he has to say about yesterday's.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Gaffer's Notebook with the Statman, and today we're of course going to review the 1-0 loss to Mansfield Town, and that was pretty poor, was it not? Now, I could go into all the stats and tell you why you lost that game based off the tactics and the statistics, but I don't think anyone wants that today. I think you want a Statman rant, so that's what we're going to do. And it will involve the tactics board, so don't you go away just yet. But yeah, I could go in on Mr. Sharman Lowe for the corner, because that was poor. He got bullied. But I won't. I could easily have a pop at the strikers for missing a lot of chances when they actually got the ball. Well, I'm not going to do that. Or I could have a go at a certain sub who was pretty embarrassing when he came on. But I'm not going to do that either, because he's already taken enough stick, and me putting anything else on it is not going to help, is it? So I'm going to have a look at the use of certain players in that game with the help of the tactics board in just a second. So, 3 players in particular, and they are arguably the best 3 in the squad, and they were all used incorrectly, and they have been for much of the season. Number 1, Max Conway, left back, and he is pretty quality, is he not? Let's go back to the start of the season. Everyone thought he was mustard, and he's had 2 meh games, and suddenly everyone thinks a little bit different, but he is pretty quality, let's be fair. Against Mansfield, he was kind of playing as the left side of a back 3, and we'll come on to that a little bit later, but he's not that type of guy, is he? He's the man who gets the ball, drives at the midfielders, drives at defenders, puts a cross in, gets a shot off, get in the box, creates chances. That's what he's good at. He's a threat because he's really good going forward. Anyway, number 2, Josh Sheehan. Now, Sheehan's been pretty good recently, to be fair. But I'd still argue he's not been used right. You could argue, I'd say definitely, actually, he's the most technically gifted player in the Bolton squad. Fact. There's an argument for the old division, to be honest. And he's quality. He's the type of man that plays passes that nobody else can. He needs freedom to roam about the old pitch, and he's not getting that. Do you think Bruno Fernandes for Man United? You think Kevin De Bruyne for Man City? You think blooming Luka Modric for Real Madrid? He is literally the same profile of player as Luka Modric. Let the man play football how he sees fit, because he sees football much, much, much better than anybody else in the squad and probably in the coaching team based off recent results. Anyway, number 3, Amario Cozier-Duberry. Now, everyone knows my love for this man, but he is being used so incorrectly, and it's really, really annoying me, right? Because, let's be fair, what's he good at? Getting the ball wide, beating his man, putting a cross in, getting in the box, getting a shot off, cutting it back, winning a penalty, right? He is that type of winger. And yeah, sometimes he can cut in and have a dig and it can go 40 yards over the bar. But that's what wide players should do. They get you off your seat. He is that type of man. And against Mansfield, he was basically playing as a central midfielder. He was that narrow and he was playing too deep. He wasn't the man breaking into the box. He was waiting outside. And then he'd get the ball and before men stood around him so he couldn't do anything. My God, let's go to the tactics board before I get too annoyed. Right, here we are. This is your setup against Mansfield with the lines. And we'll come on to why they're important in just a sec. But most of the game was spent like so. Like that. Told to move over. Johnston in the middle. Conway there. That is fine. It can work. Did it? No, because you didn't score your chances. Now, if you converted your chances, we're having a very different conversation here. And that's key to remember. But let's have a look at how your players can be used properly. So Max Conway, should he be in this sort of area? Big no. Big no. You could argue he should be up here instead of Randall in those attacking areas or out there instead of Gale. And I think the good thing with a left-sided combination, as it was before Mansfield made their first change in the first half, they can rotate. One stays wide, one comes in. Or the one who comes in makes the overlap, makes an underlap, has an option, right? I want Conway up there. There's number one. Number two, Josh Sheehan. He's too deep. Now, that's not to say he can't play in those zones sometimes, but he is too deep. Correct? Correct. He scored 2 goals against Rotherham from being up here, right? You need him in those areas. So, let Simons anchor the midfield and let Sheehan roam about the pitch. The other midfielder probably has to drop a bit deeper and Sheehan can just pop up anywhere. He can pop up in zone 14, which is just outside the box behind the striker. He can pop up at left back because he can ping it anywhere. He could easily be stood there and ping it over to Cozy Dewberry, OC22 on the other side. That's what he does. And yeah, I've moved the line. But still, he needs to be given a sort of free role in midfield. And that can happen, right? Come on to how in just a second. Cozy Dewberry. Done. Put him on the wing, for the love of God. He's a winger. He's not an inside forward. He's not a number 10. He's a winger. Play him on the wing. So how do you do that in the same system? Because right now, you've got 2 fullbacks in the inside 10. You can either... This could be your starting formation. I'll be honest, Randall's not playing for me. He could do, but he's not. Let's go. I've moved the line again. I'm probably playing Arahon, Big Heath instead. 4-3-3. Right? When you've got the ball in the first sort of phase, can look like that. You can build up like that. It works. It's proven. When you're attacking, Cozy Dewberry stays wide. Conway gets forward. Gale tucks in. All the other way around. Doesn't matter. Let's say Conway tucks in for this example. Right back, I'm not playing OC22 at right back because 1, he's not right back. 2, imbalances the team. Let's bring Christie in. Could be Dakres Cogley. Either of them. Toll moves over. Christie in the middle. You've got your back 3. You're sweet. You don't have to do that. We'll come on to another solution in a second. From midfield 2 just ahead, Simons, Arahod. Did it work at the start of the season? My God, did it. It was quality. Now, I have said in the past, Sheehan's not a number 10. He's not a number 10. He is not playing in this area here, right? He is drifting everywhere. Sometimes he'll be here. Sometimes he'll be here. Sometimes he'll be here. He could be over there. But he's being given the freedom to move. And if you want to give him even more freedom, you don't play Rahon. You can play Randall. He can be in this area. Simons is the anchor on his own, which he could do. He has done this season. I don't really like it too much, but he can. And Sheehan can just go anywhere he blooming likes. And if you want to make it even better, probably play Dempsey and just let him and Sheehan swap all the time. Cause some chaos. Cozy Dewberry stays wide. This man has a lot of responsibility because when Cozy Dewberry looks to run at his fullback, he needs to make this run, underlap, overlap. Just helps him, makes it a little bit easier. Again, you probably don't need to play a back 3 in this when you're building up. You can probably just play a back 2 and have Simon sat in front, or you can even have Simons drop in. Randall can go, Arahon can sit in front, and sometimes it looks like this, sometimes it looks like this, sometimes it'll look like this, and sometimes it'll look like this, because Sheehan will drop deep, and then let him spray it. Anyway, rant over. do those things, win more games. Simple. Enjoy the rest of the show. I'm sure I'll see you very soon. Goodbye.
A lot to dissect, a lot to think about. I think what he's saying is right. I think in many respects, I like the idea of Max Conway being more advanced and the wide men or the wide left midfielder being hugging the touchline. I think we saw glimpses of that. What Carl was saying yesterday. Correct me if I'm wrong. I do agree that Amario needs to get out wide a little bit more and stop kind of playing more centrally in areas. I think for me that comes with a little bit of desperation as well, wanting to impact games because his form, and I'm sure if he was sat on here, he would probably agree himself, has dipped in this last few weeks. So with that, a talented player wants to do good things, doesn't he? And
I think
win games.
He's one of them where he's if we're losing a game, he's not going to shy away from. He's one of them. He's like. He'll drop deep to try and get on the ball and make something happen.
He tries too hard, doesn't he? He tries too hard.
He's trying too hard because he's not scoring goals and he's not doing what he was doing before his barren or somewhat of a barren run that he's on now. I think that's a problem. But it's fine margins in it because that effort they had in the first half that went maybe a yard or so wide in the top corner, that he dropped centrally for that, didn't he? And shimmied and made a little bit of space out of nothing. And if that goes into the top corner, it's a completely different game, isn't it? But it's in buts and maybes, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of what Carl said, and the detail is fantastic. Have you got anything to add to that, Ange, Ben?
I mean, Conway did make an advancing run and almost scored as well yesterday. I like seeing Max attacking going forward. But I absolutely, and I think everybody in this chat agrees that wingers need to be playing on the wing.
Yeah.
We got an assist from Dewberry when he did that on Boxing Day for Sheehan. It works. And I just think it literally is. He's learning his game, isn't he? And he's trying so hard. You can't fault the lad for trying, but we need to be keeping him on that wing.
Yeah, I agree. And it gets the best out of well, it should get the best out of Dolby as well. As someone mentioned in the chat before, we brought Morley on who put in 6 or 7 really good crosses when Dolby wasn't on the pitch, who I imagine would have been sat on the bench thinking, why was nobody doing this when I was on the pitch? We mentioned it a million times. Callum nearly broke his screen, didn't he, the other day when he was saying, cross the ball into Dolby's head. But yeah, and as for Conway, yeah, I agree. Just playing further forward because the 2 times last night he got on the ball further forward is when he ran through for his chance that he probably should have scored. And the one in the last minute where he slalomed through 3 players and, well, should have won a penalty because...
Because it was fun.
Because it was.
I think but, I'm still noticing people not impressed with Derby. I mean, Leslie just put it in the comment section here saying Derby's not impressed with one little bit. But I heard so many good things about him when we signed him, but he's done nothing. I'm going to stick up for Derby because I think centre forwards, especially one like him, you're only as good as your service, and he simply hasn't had service. So I think, like last night, I think he played pretty well. Link-up play was good. Back to goal was really good. Obviously, it was kind of laying the ball off to the wide areas in the hope that he would get some, and simply didn't have the service again. So I think we need to chill out a little bit with him. I think that's my thoughts anyway. I think he's playing a little bit of catch up, probably just about caught ups from the summer and not having no pre-season, and now he's finally getting a bit of a run, and he just simply hasn't had the right level of service. Yeah,
to me, I think obviously we've praised Cozy Dewberry and Thierry Gale so much this season, but sometimes, especially with Dolby up front, are they too similar a player? But they're both trying to take on the man and get a shot away or get to the byline rather than, knocking it past the fullback and getting a ball into the box. I feel like that's what we're missing. We were saying it the other day, weren't we, with someone in the mould of like Philip Moreas. Obviously, we'd be lucky to get someone that good. But just someone who can, get down to the byline and put a decent cross in, or even from out wide, get a decent cross in. But yeah, Stan says he's not going to impress if you don't play to his strengths. It's just, I don't know. One of the only times we put a decent cross in for him this season was away at Huddersfield when he scored the equaliser, didn't he, with a great header. But yeah, to me,
Alex just made me laugh then with his turning circle with cruise liner. line there.
Yeah, I mean, he does, but that's not his game.
I think that's harsh, you see, as well. I think, yeah, just not. He's not his game for start off, like Ben just said. And
he's a big lad. He's a big lad. He doesn't move as agilely as the little wingers. He can't. He's a big lad. Like he's never going to move like them.
Anyway, still stuck on Gaffer's notebook here. So let's. This does actually work tonight because there's three of us. So let's have a little bit, if we can, humour, positivity with 3 up. I'm sure there'll be 3 downs, no doubt. So 3 up, 3 down. Let's get going with this quickly. I'll start with Ange. What was your up from yesterday, please?
I'm going to go with the fact that I think the majority of the stadium redeemed itself a little bit with Joel yesterday. That he got a really nice reception. He got applauded when his number was read out. People were really positive, like commentary around me, encouraging him and things. And I just think that he definitely was. He looked like he had a little bit of spark back yesterday. Like he was genuinely trying really hard. And I know some people have accused him in the past of not. So I just think it was nice to see or to hear a bit of positivity for Joel yesterday.
Okay, fair. Ben, what about you, mate?
Yeah, my up is, which has been a down up this season, is to do with pasties again.
Oh God.
I know. I mentioned how many times on this pod that, I'm moaning, but it's definitely my fault for getting to the ground too late. But anyway, by the time I get there, all the cheese and jalapenos are sold out, and didn't even bother going for one yesterday. Went up to my seat, and lovely lady Jackie sat next to me, sat down and pulled out a cheese and jalapeno for me, and just went, "Oh, I've been listening to the podcast, and know your struggles with the pasty, and surprised me with a pasty." So shout out to Jackie for my up. I know, yeah.
Because it cost a bloody fortune. So that's a total win.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'll buy you one back.
Lovely. My up from yesterday was one of the guys who sits near me at the stadium bought Theo a Christmas present. And I gave it to him this morning, and he was absolutely ecstatic. He thought an elf had left it for him at the ground, which is what I told him.
The elf did leave it there.
And the guy who bought it for him does actually look a little bit like an elf as well, so it works quite well. But yeah, he was buzzing with that. He got a little remote controlled motorbike. So that was my up from yesterday.
That's cute.
Nice thoughts. Down, Ange, go on. Hit me with yours.
Booing once again.
Sure,
not going to get on any soapboxes about it. I just can't do it. I don't care if you look like he's won a competition to play. He ain't getting booed. Not from these lips.
Nope.
And I'm leaving it there.
I'm going to go next because it's mine and I'm still going to have it. I'm going to get the soapbox.
You do it so much better than me, Cole.
I'm going to get the soapbox. I'm going to have to be careful not to swear here again, but just pathetic. Pathetic. How you can boo your own player when he gets possession of the ball in game and he's attacking because you think he isn't very good is embarrassing, and you're very, very self-entitled, and you need to have a look at yourself. Because that does no good whatsoever, whether you think he's crap or whether you think he's good enough to wear the shirt or not. It's just not acceptable to do that in game. Show your frustrations after the game when we've lost. Yeah, get it. That's fair, I think. Have a word with them outside the ground if you think it's not acceptable in a polite and respectful manner, but not when we're trying to get back into the game with 5 minutes to go and you're booing him when he gets hold of the ball and he plays for you. Poor form. Ben, what's your down?
Yeah, well said, mate. My down is mentioned before, and I hate doing this because it seems like an excuse, but the referee, honestly, Sissoko, you just mentioned him, he got booked for diving, that for me was just a foul. I didn't get that at all. And I said in the chat before I saw the highlights because I wanted to watch them with a fresh mind, because obviously last night you have a couple of pints and you're losing and you're frustrated and you think every decision goes against you. So I wanted to kind of look back at him again. And yeah, Sissoko one for me is just a foul. That's a free kick on the edge of the box. He's been booked for no reason. The Sheehan one is 50-50. I've seen him get given. Evans kind of swings a foot. I'm not sure. Yeah, it was kind of a flailing leg, wasn't it? It might have been outside the box anyway, but anyway, he didn't give it. And yeah, the Conway one was just absolutely ridiculous to me. He's gone past 3 men. He's got in a good position for a shot. Why on earth would he fall over if he's not been fouled? And again, Evans, who I think pretty sure it was Evans who swiped at him, even sees him go to the ground and puts his hand behind his back like that, actually thinking, oh no, what have I done? I go away a penalty in the last minute. And the ref plays play on. And Cole, you mentioned, didn't you? I think it was Nathan. Was it Nathan? I can't remember. Someone in the chat last night said when they scored that the ball was out of play. Or wasn't sure. But
yes.
It's the highlights back. Yeah.
In the build-up goal, I mean, I see North Upper, and where my seat is right in line with the touch line, and I can see obviously the linesman looking straight down the line. And in the build-up to the corner that they scored, it was maybe 2 or 3 inches over the line, and he just didn't give it. And I said to my dad, I said, they cost you. Them type of decisions cost you. And exactly what I said happened. Yeah. It's just poor officiating in it again. And it's laughable, really. You got to laugh, like, I think, anyway. Otherwise, you'd cry, wouldn't you? Let's be fair.
You have to, because there's nothing you can do about it. It's just shit throughout the league, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't. Especially the Conway one, especially me. I just don't understand the logic there behind a guy running through 3 players in the last minute, having a chance to score, and he goes down. Why would he go down if he's not been fouled?
Did he get any sort of ramification? Did he get made to watch these really shitty decisions they've made? Because he should.
Probably, yeah. I mean, look. I have sympathy because it is a horrible job. It's a horrible job. I don't know why anyone would ever want to be a referee because. You have 5 good games. You have 5 good games. No one says anything. You have 1 bad game, and suddenly the worst person in the world. And it must be horrible. I don't know why anyone would do it, but because fair play to them. But yeah, still, it was just poor. And look, I'm just gonna end it with that was not the reason we lost the game last night. We all know why we lost because we missed too many chances and defended.
But he did not help.
But he was awful. So.
Yeah, terrible. We're going to be getting into the fan focus shortly. Please do get your comments in the chat. My question to you all in the chat is, like I said before, what do we need? Like, what do we need realistically in January to kind of help us kind of look to close that gap again for that top 2? Because I think it is still doable. Like, let's be honest with you, there's a long way to go yet. We're not even halfway through yet, are we? So there's a lot of twists and turns to come. But I get the impression, I get the feeling that this is probably one of the bigger windows for a good while, because there's a real opportunity here, isn't there, to get promoted this season, and obviously we don't want to miss that one. So my question is to you all is, what do we need realistically? I know obviously either Ben or Ange have been starring a few of the comments tonight, and I think we've got a couple in there already which we'll dissect now. But before we move on, obviously, a massive thank you to the 68 people that have been watching and listening live tonight. Please do like and subscribe. That'd be really, really appreciated. It goes a long, long way to help us grow the podcast, of course. And not forgetting as well, obviously, loving my social sponsors tonight's podcast and every post-match reaction pod throughout the whole of the 25-26 season. Support is very much appreciated. If you'd like to learn more about what Leanne does and the great work that she does for her business and supporting businesses up and down the UK, please do head to our website and all the information will be on there. But yeah, like I said, let's get into the old fan focus. Get your comments in the chat. I'll pass this over to you, Ben.
Thank you. Fan focus time, yeah. I've got a few saved, but it's never too late to get some comments in. So if you want anything more addressed, get them in and we'll have a chat. First one, pretty simply from Leslie. Just thought it was interesting. Do we think Farino should be starting? Because we started off, for me, I thought he was one of our better performers towards the start of the season. And it was the international call-up, wasn't it, that initially got him out of the squad. Toll came back in and I think they've been pretty good recently. But yeah, I just thought I'd open up a conversation. Do you think he deserves a start at some point, or is it a no?
I don't like messing about with the back. I'm not a fan of it. I think a stable back line is preferred. So unless anything catastrophic were to happen, I think probably not. Not unless you're winning like 5-0 or something, and then. But is it not for starting? I don't think.
Fair
it
enough.
did strange things yesterday with banging Molly. Anyway, carry on.
Just
call anything.
Well, while I'm just speaking, then I've just been looking at the fixtures and the runner fixtures that we were on, dating all the way back to I think when we even maybe before we beat Cardiff actually, when it's been Johnson and Toll as very much an ever present, and I think the fact that we've lost kind of one game throughout the whole of the previous kind of month. I know we've stumbled a little bit in the last couple of weeks, but I think being the fact that we're third least goals conceded in the league is a bit of an indicator that we should be sticking with Toll and Johnson really as a two. That's for me anyway. Yeah,
there's been a couple of comments for that. Radix who said, I think Toll, JG are our best pairing. Dan's agreed, the best pairing he's playing right now. Yeah. And Max has said, Conway, George Johnson and Toll have been great. The problems we have aren't there. And to be honest, yeah, I do agree. So next one we have is a conversation between Max and Radix, who at one point Max said Lewandowski would struggle as our number 9. There isn't any supply. I mean, we mentioned before about how the supply has not been good enough. Do you think another number 9 is needed, or do you think it is more the supply to them? I mean, as we said, Dolby's not scored when he started the game. Force has only scored them 2 against Wigan in his first start when he kind of played number 10. And Burstow hasn't scored since Peterborough at home a couple of months ago. Do you think it's more of an issue to the supply, and does that need a change in personnel in terms of, as we said, a more traditional winger or a better number 10, or do you reckon we should go to a 2 up front, something like that, and change the way we try and create chances?
I'm a bit perplexed as to why we don't go 2 up top from time to time. Like last night.
Why don't we've got no 10? We were saying the way home last night. We have no real 10. Why are we not just putting 2 up top and with wingers? Why do we need a 10?
Well, it links to another comment that I've saved here by David. Just said, for a team to not have a solid number 10 is bizarre. We don't even know who it is. Crazy. And yeah, I mean, as we said, we've had 4 different players in the number 10 position this season, and by match 22, we're still not sure who our best number 10 should be. So is the solution to not play with one? Yeah.
It's none of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. The 10 helps the balance of the wingers, though, doesn't it? A lot of the time. Especially the way we play, the way our wingers play, they're not.
But then you can't play when you've not got one. You can't play someone in a 10 when you've got anyone who's a 10. It just baffles me.
We have, though, haven't we? We're just not very.
They're not, though, are they? Yeah, but so they're not.
Well, they are 10s, though, aren't they? They're just not performing very well, really. That's the problem. Like McAtee. Well, saying that, McAtee were like a 9.5 when he at Barnsley when he were on a good run. The 10 really, I think. You look at McAtee, you look at Randall, and you look at Force. I think Randall's really the only natural 10 out of them 3, isn't he? Really.
Yeah.
Force is a 9. He played as a 9 and at Middlesbrough, and he played at a 9 at Wimbledon as well. McAtee was a 9.5 at Barnsley, playing just off Cole, weren't he, when he was probably at his best.
Yeah.
So we've actually only got 1 10 who, as we discussed the other day in the preview, or was it the preview? We've done so many podcasts recently, is better in a transitional side or a counter-attacking side in old money.
Yeah.
So we've got 10s, but
we're not the kind of 10s we need.
But none of them suit the way, the way we're having to play.
So we're trying to play a system that doesn't suit the players we've got, which is what Callum, I think, has kind of been alluding to as well.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. And I think that's an indicator why we're getting, obviously, linked to this lad at Spurs, aren't we? Probably because he clearly is he's a proper bridge
10,
between a 10 and a
10 and a 9. Yeah, 9.5, as you would say.
Yeah, to me, from what I've seen from him anyway, he just looks. I mean, technically, he's above the level, and he just looks more physical. So he's another body up there to get on the end of a cross or to battle with a player more than do what our tens have been doing recently. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a thought. I reckon. I mean, I said it a few weeks ago when we were having a conversation about should Burstow be dropped for Dolby and what would happen there. I would put them both up front and see what happens. But put them both up front and play to our strengths, because we did that at Burton and was pretty poor because we basically didn't change the way we were playing. But yeah, I don't know.
I think what the ideal situation would be to, I'm just checking when Victor's contract runs out here. June 26th, so obviously during summer that come in. The ideal situation would be to let Vic go or to sell him possibly in January. Not that somebody would buy a player just coming back from injury. So probably to let him free up his contract and let him go, which would obviously free up a striking spot. Bring in that lad from Wrexham who worked with Shuey to replace him, and then sell McAtee, who's on good money, to somebody like a Barnsley or whoever would want him, or loan him, or whatever the deal would be, and then bring in the lad from Spurs. That would be your natural in terms of getting players in January for me anyway on paper, and maybe then look at a right winger possibly to compete with Amario from time to time. Maybe they've been my three things that I will probably look at for me.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think I'd agree with that. But yeah, last but not least, we have Russ. I mentioned this before when we were chatting about the service to the strikers. You just could do with the wingers changing size throughout the game. Gets the line across the strikers. Too slow moving the ball sometimes. Yeah, I mean, it's something that I mentioned. I think it's about a month ago when Shuey, when he first arrived, was chopping and changing and basically changing formation every 10 minutes to try and win a game, and it works quite often. And he did some of this where he swapped the wingers around based on the game situation. And I would like to see it because, as he said, what we've been dying out for is just someone to hit the byline or put a cross in from deep, especially when Dolby's playing. What do you think, Cole? Do you reckon this is a thing, or do you not think they're too playing on their strong foot?
I think Gale might possibly suit it, to be fair to him. I could see that if I'm truthful, because he likes to get to the byline, I think, and put in it, because he even tries it on his left side, doesn't he, when he can, and he's pretty competent with that as well. I'm not so sure about Mario because it's a different type of winger, which is why I've been saying for a while, have somebody competing with him who likes to get chalk on his boots. For me, that's and it gives a lot of rest as well, or maybe it gives you an opportunity to play more centrally if you really want to as well, which he would absolutely cause havoc, really, is in them central areas.
Another number 10.
Put him in at 10. Put him in at 10. Everyone else got to go.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think if he had a little bit of I'd like to thought somebody a bit of experience, maybe who knows they're not going to be playing every week, but has still got a little bit to add when called upon, who could maybe even help Amario as well. You know, become a more cultured type of winger. That's in my mind. That's what I would like, if possible, in January. But again, it's a tough sell, innit? You know, come in and compete with, you know, a talented kid. So yeah, I don't think it'd suit Amario, but certainly, yeah, I can see Gale. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Mendes Lang, that's a great shout. Someone like that would be.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, someone like that's exactly it. Somebody who's coming to the end of the career but could still offer a little bit, and yeah, absolutely, great shout.
Yeah, and do you got anything to add to that? Would you like to see that, or do you think it's different personnel?
It's similar to what Colin said. I think Thierry would have a right good crack at it. And what Brandon's just said about Jordi, so he's wasted a little bit at right back. I thought he was the only one who came out with much credit yesterday, actually, to be fair.
Yeah.
If he would have had a mom, he might have got the mom, but we didn't have one.
We didn't have a mom.
We didn't have a mom.
We were momless tonight, weren't we?
Yeah.
I mean, rightly so.
For good reason.
Yeah, nothing really much to add. I thought of something at one point, and then I've forgotten what it is. It's my age.
You've just not got the mental. You've just not got the mental capacity.
I've not got mental capacity for this podcast.
That's your issue. From where I'm sat, anyway. Listen,
Yeah,
lovely.
that's your lot for fan focus this week. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, lovely to have all the comments in the chat tonight. Not only for fan focus, but during the whole course of the evening. I like to think we're a little bit of a soundboard for you all during difficult results like that. Listen, it's a bump in the road. I think, not to quote Shuey, but we'll have many bumps in the road between now and May. We are not only we're not even halfway through yet, guys. You know, let's try and be a little bit positive where we can and less reactionary if we can.
Before this run of games over the festive period, I looked at these 4 as all very winnable games, and I said 3 wins out of 4, and I'd be happy. So win the next 2, and we can all be smiling.
Yeah, I think so as well. And like in true Wanderers style, we'll probably go out and probably beat one of the more difficult teams on paper in the next few weeks as well, won't we? And we'll probably be somewhere around where we expect to be. So let's just try. I know it's hard. Listen, I was furious last night. Try and be positive. Try and send it to the universe, as they say. We are back. Doncaster post match. Is that right?
Yeah, we've done
Friday night, isn't it?
Yeah.
Friday, the 2nd of January. You'll be joined by Ben once again, and Dan and Nathan for that one, giving me and Andrew a rest on the substitute bench.
And you will actually be halfway through the season then, so you can say it, Ben.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Listen, to the 3,000 of you that are going to Doncaster, which includes many plastic fans, the likes of Ben McQuaid and Dan as well, that's also attending that particular New Year's Day game. You're all welcome, regardless of whether or not you go regularly or not, of course.
Oh yeah, sounds like it.
You're all stars for spending your well-earned money following the Wanderers, especially after that shambles last night.
Feel free to buy me a drink.
Yeah. Be loud, be proud, behave yourself. Try not to be too hungover. Don't boo, regardless of whether they're crap or not. Have an opinion because you're welcome to it, and ignore me. Have a lovely evening, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.
Up the Whites.
The Whites.
Boys are